Okay, I think today is the last day, the foundation Buddhist philosophy uh, through the structure of the, what we say, structure of the path. So today, I think include a few important aspects. Maybe we can have a short discussion also in regards to what we went through for the last 4 weeks. And then I think, yeah, so a few important structures within the path. Uh, mm, Integration, I think, yeah, mainly in regards to the integration. The first one, of course, being bodhichitta. Then the second one being the six perfections. Then third one, seeing the what we say complete path itself. Then I think living the path or integrating into the path. Then reflections in regards to in regards to our own practice. So I think these are the four, yeah, more important ones. So we go through them today. Sāṅgē chūdāṅ sōgē sōnāṃ lā, chāñchō bādō dāne kyab sōngchē, dāgē sī sōgē wē sōnāṃ. Chūlā pēchē sāṅgē rūpā shū, sāṅgē chūdāṅ sōgē sōnāṃ lā, chāñchō bādō dāne kyab sōngchē, dāgē sī sōgē wē sōnāṃ. Chūlā pēchē sāṅgē rūpā shū, sāṅgē chūdāṅ sōgē sōnāṃ lā, chāñchō bādō dāne kyab sōngchē, dāgē sī sōgē wē sōnāṃ. Chūlā pēchē sāṅgē rūpā. Okay. So yeah, so I think mm, so I think we went a little bit into refuge the last time, uh, in regards to the practice, and then um, the central what we say, one of the central keys to integrate dharma is through guidance, and therefore the importance of refuge within that. Then uh, uh, refuge from the Madhyamika concept is a little bit different from generally our concept of taking refuge, right? So I think we went through that also. Mm. Then in regards to who takes refuge, then in whom we take the refuge, then for what reason we take the refuge. I think that also we went a little bit into it. Then through that integration, then we had a little bit of a discussion in regards to, I think, the different types of refuge generated, and then the different objects of refuge generated. And through that, then if we are applying the Madhyamika concept of emptiness, then in regards to that, where does refuge stand? Because from one point, yeah, uh, um, what do we say, negating the concept of our truly existing, what do we say, innately existing self, independently existing, negating the concept of independent existence. Yet we are, seeking refuge. So that concept, I think we went a little bit into that. Um, then, of course, explored the concept of the conventional refuge and the ultimate refuge. Uh, uh, and then I think through the understanding of conventional refuge and ultimate refuge, the goal here is to integrate the the concept of non-duality within the refuge itself. So yeah, so I'm suffering, and the Buddha has the wisdom to show me the way out. As understanding deepens, then the practitioner, we as practitioners then investigate the nature of the self, nature of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, then the nature of what is the concept of liberation based on the understanding, integrating the understanding of what we say samsara, the concept of samsara, then of course tying all of those together. This, I think, that's what we will do today. Then I think I went a little bit into the concept of the what we say context in regards to uh, whether the refuge system exists in the Aryahood or not. And then also we anyway, that, and then definitely through the tantric concept, and if what we say if appropriate for the level of the what do we say of the mind, then the Vajrayana perspective, also the tantric perspective, also a little bit integratable in that sense, right? So anyway, within the sutra, the Buddha sort of like primarily the concept of the Buddha, I think, understood as the teacher who, what we say, guides us, right? So in Tantra, the relationship between the practitioner and the Buddha can be even more, so what, intimate, intimate in that sense. So the practitioner engaging with the concept of the Guru, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha as one, the unity of all of that, and not merely as something external. uh, and this, I think, this practice is integrated through a few different aspects, such as what we call Guru Yoga, deity yoga, visualization, then of course identification with what we say with enlightenment form. And this identification, again, I think this is a um, what we say, self inauguration sort of thing. Self what is the implementation concept of the what we say awakening of the enlightenment within ourselves. Then of course when it comes to purification, then definitely it's beyond the ordinary appearance. Purification also happens on the exact same tantric level. So but then the mind, like I always mentioned, in order to integrate tantra into our lives on that level, we do have to have a very, 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 very clear and cognitive understanding of the three principal aspects of the path. So then, of course, I think recognizing the inseparability of the wisdom and the compassion, that also integrated into the deity yoga. So these, I think, more profound, does go a little bit deeper, deeper into the practice itself. Now, when we talk about deity, then the deity is not inherently existent, of course, inherently existent, of course. Mm, Neither is the practitioner himself or herself inherently existent. Neither is what we say the practice itself also is not inherently existent, right? So yet again we apply the same logic. Yet precisely because they are empty and they are not what do we say inherently existent, and they are they arise on the basis of dependency, then because of that, then the transformation utilizing these extreme methods also possible. So this prevents tantra from being understood as simply replacing any ordinary solid identity with anything external, yeah, or anything another than the identification itself. So yeah, so yeah, that is that. Then yeah, so then within that, I think uh, some things that we can explore is I mean some questions that we can explore is if the Buddha is empty, then understanding how the Buddha is empty. Yeah, I think this is important aspect because a lot of us come from the background of what we call identifying an independent nature that uh, what we say that empowers our life in some sense. And I think logically, not logically, but mentally, we have this, what we say, uh, this need or this grasping towards something like that existing. And and anyway, so through that concept, then uh, yeah, then of course, if the Buddha is empty of its what we say, its um, uh, empty of its independent nature and it's dependent, then how, on what basis does the state of Buddhahood differ from the state of where we are? So that definitely a question to explore. Then the second one, if the self is empty, then again, I think all of these contemplations are on the basis to reconstruct the idea of emptiness. So if the what we say, if the self or the suffering itself is empty, then who is taking the refuge? Who's seeking the liberation? Then of course whether that integrates into the concept of the emptiness being meaningless, yeah, definitely not. So that one, and then of course, can refuge itself become a point of attachment, right? Because the whole concept of the view of emptiness is to negate the grasping attitude. uh, Grasping attitude in some form can be attachment. So uh, uh, that that question being that when you utilize the view of emptiness, then is there what do we do, or how do we react when we actually become attached, yeah, or we actually grasp onto the practice of emptiness itself. Yeah, so uh, uh, yeah, so can refuge, yeah, itself become a form of attachment? Can Buddha become a form of attachment? Can Guru become a form of attachment? That one, I think I have seen, uh, especially with Kyabje Lama Thupten Zopa Rinpoche, a lot of students, uh, you know, uh, it's a competitive world. Yeah, and then is a what is a world where we need to show off, we need to prove things to each other. Yeah, and a world that where validation feels like everything. So, so students competing what do you say, within each other. This tends to happen. Yeah? So it's a form of what we say, form of practice that sort of like that takes a turn uh, from the right method onto something that is a little bit hard to explain because uh, you know if someone says, well, you can't have attachment, you can't grasp onto the guru and the dharma and the sangha and so on and so forth, then it becomes a question, well, then why am I even practicing that kind of concept? This does tend to happen a lot in our mind because we think that when there's a goal and there's an achievement, then our mind has to be attached to it. Otherwise, what's the point of the goal? What's the point of the achievement? Yeah. So this is also one reason why we very naturally follow our attachment as well. If we want a big house or that or these whatever accomplishments we want, we tend to grasp onto it, and that grasping becoming the uh, whole reason to why the whole reason or whole, what we say, aspiration towards achieving it. But in reality, uh, I think through the practice, it functions a little bit differently. And yeah, and uh, yeah, so anyway, yes, a refuge can become confused if the, what do we say, if the practitioner creates an inherently existing, uh, what do we say, object of refuge, such as the Buddha or the Guru, or so on and so forth. So the inherentness, the accomplishment, the development of the inherent view does definitely uh, make the refuge become object of refuge become an object of attachment. Yeah. Um, then I think, and what we say, and an inherent existing I. Uh, uh, I think the concept of the Madhyamika invites us to develop refuge uh, without what we say refining the concept of the refuge or the object of the refuge, without integrating the object of the refuge with the what we say with the concept of innately existent, almighty, all powerful, all that, all this, that kind of labeling. It does not encourage on that basis, right? So definitely, if our mind, yeah, we can see this when our mind creates things, then definitely the what we say, the grasping becomes stronger, right? When we say, for example, if I say, oh, my teacher has magic abilities, he can heal the, so on and so forth, he can do this, he can, then definitely from our mind, it's something amazing, and it's something that is non-dependent on anything, because it's magic, right? It happens out of thin air. So basically that amazement does, what we say, does capture our mind, and to yeah anyway the extra labeling of the mind, from what it is to something that, something way over labeling, then that definitely does create a very strong sense of grasping. But when it comes to appreciation, when it comes to love, when it comes to care, when it comes to respect, these you can do just by understanding the nature itself. No, we don't need to integrate all this, uh, what we say, all this extra, what we say, extra labeling onto it. And this one, I think we can see very clearly with our own mind how it works. Even though we appreciate friendship and so on and so forth, then one friend, you start labeling that friend as someone amazing and someone who has magical powers and so on and so forth, then definitely that grasping becomes harder. I think there's a book, it's an atheist book. It's called, I think, God Delusion or something like that. One time I was reading through that book. Then there was a quote in that book that kind of, like, kind of got me. It says, in order to what we say, enjoy a beautiful garden, if you go what we say ahead and imagine fairies existing in the garden, then your enjoyment for the natural real garden would disappear, because now you're over labeling, and because you label, okay, my garden has fairies in it, so this is why it's so amazing. Then when you see a normal garden, then you say, well, now it's not amazing because there's no fairies in it. Right, my garden has fairies in it. Where's the fairies in your garden? So your garden is nothing compared to mine. So even in its natural form, uh, the experience, or the relating experience, is completely different when we, what we say, over exaggerate, on the basis of labeling. So I think the concept definitely integrated into that. Uh, kind of explains the view of emptiness, that our mind, the labeling aspect of our mind, how it creates things beyond, beyond its natural form, beyond the concept of impermanence, beyond the concept of dependent origination, right? So, and our mind tends to do this. So in practice, asking, referring and asking question in regards to how we are seeing things is, I think, an important aspect. Mm. So anyway, through that, then, of course, what we say, uh, when it comes to the Buddha, then not an inherently existing savior, but the fully awakened teacher, which happened through dependent origination, which happened through the concept of impermanence. Yeah, the change, the continuity, the consistency, the application, the enlightenment itself grew through that method. So the awakened teacher, whose wisdom and compassion function conventionally. So that, I think, is a final integration of the understanding, right? Then when it comes to the Dharma itself, then not merely a collection of teachings, but the path that transforms the misunderstanding into wisdom, that clarifies the misunderstanding when it comes to the method of applying wisdom, and that too on the basis of dependent origination, that too on the basis of dependent origination, uh, of what we say, of the conventional view, of the conventional experience, yeah, with the ultimate view and the ultimate experience. That is what makes it profound, right? Then of course when it comes to the Sangha, is not merely a social community, but those who embody, and those who progress towards the realization of that integration of the wisdom. And that, I think, again, uh, uh, and this profoundness also, like I said, is also possible because of the view of emptiness, because of dependent origination, because of change, because of consistency, because of function. Therefore, we can see very clearly that this is, this is applicable in that sense. So, if there is no inherent existing person taking refuge, uh, and no what we say, inherently existing Buddha receiving the refuge, then what makes the refuge meaningful? Yeah. So, this question is something that we do need to uh, sit down with and let it sink. We are very close. We are very fast to answer. We're always constantly thinking, "Oh yeah, I have an answer." But I think this is something that we do need to sit down on. I think the purpose is to allow us to recognize uh, what we say, the Madhyamika insight. Refuge functions precisely because it is dependent uh, arising. Yeah. Uh, uh, Dependent arising is not the reason to refute the refuge, but why refuge works. I think the absence of inherent existence, what we say, does not uh, uh, leave us with nothing. Yeah, it leaves us with the possibility. It leaves us with the function. And because of dependent origination, therefore it functions. If it did not function, then it's permanent. If it's permanent, then you could say, oh, there's no result, there's no change. It does not function. It does not create a cause, neither does it have an effect. But because of dependent origination, this is why I think one of the key logics to establishing the Buddhist concept in regards to renunciation, bodhicitta, and the view of emptiness, I think at the end of the day comes down to understanding impermanence, and truly understanding the concept of impermanence. Because within the philosophy itself, impermanence, the concept of impermanence is used to establish Why enlightenment possible? Because impermanent, because dependent origination, because continuity, because cause and effect, because of karma. And these are all, I think, in some sense, these are all synonyms. We're just utilizing it on different objects, labeling, oh, for this, then it's karma. For this, then it's cause and effect. For these, then it's dependent origination sort of thing. But in reality, the function is same. It's the function of cause and effect. Karma itself is the concept, or itself functions on the basis of cause and effect. No? So because the self is not fixed, therefore it can be transformed. Because the ignorance is not inherently existent, therefore it can cease to exist. Because suffering is suffering is dependent. Yeah, therefore its causes can be removed. Yeah, because Buddhahood is not an what we say uh, uh, arbitrary, what we say inherent existing state. It can be approached through or what we say the cause and effect. Yeah, this is why practice leads to realization. So I think it reveals a deeper logic in some sense. And this, I think, you can uh, if you are willing to go deeper into all of this, then definitely one of the texts that I do recommend is Nagarjuna's text, Mulya Madhyamika. Uh, I think these are all talked within the chapter, I think 24th chapter of the Mula Madhyamika. Yeah, what we say, Mula Madhyamika Karika, right? So, yeah, so anyway, within this text, Nagarjuna's text, and it's mentioned if phenomena are empty, how can suffering exist? Yeah, if suffering exists dependently, how can it cease? Then how does emptiness make the path possible? Then does emptiness, what we say, contradict the Four Noble Truths? On the concept of nihilism, yes, it does. If we're talking about emptiness from the concept of nihilism, then yes, definitely. But even though we use emptiness, sunyata, I don't know how we approach came to the term emptiness, but sunyata, actually sunya means zero. So it's like zeroness. It's basically the concept of zeroness is that nothing can be found. There's no numbers, right? So we have one, two, three. Not that the zero does not function. The zero has the most function of anything. If there's no zero, then there's no 100, there's no 10. Right? If there's no zero, there's no one. So it's not, I think, yeah, not exactly the concept of empty. It's more of 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 unable to identify anything else without it, but then not having a self, what do we say, inherent position within it as well. So I think the concept of zeroness, shunyata, when we were debating, my teacher used to say shunyata all the time. And when they say shunyata, it makes a little bit of more sense because now our mind is connecting a little bit better. Like I said, without zero, even though zero has no number in it, without zero, then a number cannot function itself, right? So even though there is no inherentness in it, but without it, then again, it cannot function. So that kind of concept, I think, I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, is more integratable through that concept, I think. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Mm. Tea time. Mm. Mm. So anyway, through that, then I think from personal freedom to universal awakening happens on the path, and this is the utilization of the of the of the means and the methods, right? So I think Buddhism begins with recognizing what we call suffering, and this comes from the Four Noble Truths. First is recognizing the suffering, yeah, Dungal Shia Parcha. So recognizing suffering and then seeking freedom from it, and uh, and the causes of it. Yeah, because impermanent, therefore based on cause, and therefore if we learn to identify the cause and learn to what we say to negate the cause, then the effect. Because samsaric experience of suffering itself is an effect, so that if the experience of the effect does not become necessary. Yeah. So yeah. So anyway, um, so so through that, then I think the internal experience is I do not want to suffer, and therefore when I realize impermanence, when I realize uh, cause and effect, then I realize that my suffering is dependent on the cause. So if I work with the cause, then that suffering ceases to exist. As cause and effect, it ceases to exist. But then the question goes a little bit deeper and further and say, what about, well, yeah, okay, me, I understand. What about everyone else? Personal liberation becomes, I think this is where bodhicitta is integrated, is where personal liberation becomes inseparable from the what is the aspiration to help all beings, not just oneself, but help others uh, become free of this samsaric experience itself. And that's what bodhicitta is integrating. Yeah. So, yeah, so through that, then comes the concept of bodhicitta, uh, the aspiration to attain complete enlightenment to the benefit of, or for the benefit, or towards the benefit of all sentient beings. I think but this is also, I think, when it comes to the integration of the concept of bodhicitta, the aspiration to attain complete enlightenment. This I think, well, when we were in the monastery, there was kind of a debate in regards to why that arises. What is the need of well, because most likely when we are when we are identifying the I and the self, then it's the self experience and the self I that is integrated into into liberation, into achievement, so on and so forth. So if that is so, then what is the importance of others? What is the importance of integrating others onto this? What is the importance of having, pulling others onto this path? Or what is the benefit of having others go on this path as well? And this, I think, also our competitive mind sometimes a little bit hard to convince when it comes to convincing, others to integrate others. If you look at the corporate world in many cases, you see that instead of pulling others, it's about stopping others. Because uh, what the cause and the conditioning is that when there's one position, and if you are not if you're putting someone else on the pedestal, yeah, on the position, then that means your possibility of you being on that pedestal or that position is gone. So the integration becomes extremely hard when the what we say, the recognizing grasping is there now, because the grasping is what it grabs towards is the position itself. So how do we bring in the concept of integrating the others? And this, I think, has to do very closely again through the concept of the wisdom itself. Because innately we are seeking freedom, we are seeking joy, we are seeking happiness. And unlike how we comprehend these to be, these are totally different experiences. Yeah. So the experience is different because of, I like to call it the qualities behind them. Yeah, the qualities that arise within the joy itself is completely different from the quality that arises within the pride. Yeah, the result is also different. Like I normally give the example, right? When we are positioning ourselves in a state of power and utilizing that power in order to feel good, we are already creating the conditions for it to feel bad as well, because the destructive emotions are connected very closely towards it. So how can we ultimately integrate the sense of freedom, the sense of joy, when we are already creating the cause to dissatisfaction? Yeah, when we are creating the cause to our own mind responding in what we say, in a destructive emotional way towards it. And we are doing this by fighting nature and reality. And I think we can see that. I think this experience comes to me when I go into a city. When you go into the city, yeah, concrete road, concrete pathway, yeah, big long buildings, what we call skyscrapers. We did everything possible in order to make it beautiful. Yet I don't see the beauty existing in all of that. It's much more serene and beautiful when you go to the jungle and see how nature creates things. And this is my personal experience. I hope it's not offending anyone, but maybe some people like the beauty of the city. I don't know. But how I see it is, in order to create something, amazing and something beautiful and something that and something this, we are, integrating all of our emotions and all of our needs and greed and so on and so forth. And therefore, the product itself becomes very, you know, uh, interactive with our own emotions. So let's say I go to up to the mountains for 1 month, then I come back to the city. It actually becomes hard to be in the city for 1, 2 months. It becomes hard to be in the city because of the sound, because of the amount of people, because of this, because of that, because of the pollution, because so many different things. And the amazing thing is, yet this one you can see in Nepal especially. Yet all the people come into the city. From the villages, now the villages are becoming empty. They're all piling up into the city. So this, like I said, yeah, when we are integrating a negative emotion and creating the cause to integrate something like that, then our expectation is completely different from what we are causing things to arise now. We are trying to cause something completely different, but then the causes that we are applying in order to, like we say, it's like saying, oh, I want a beautiful garden. So I go around killing all the animals in the garden. It becomes impossible to have a beautiful garden. Because, and this is not because, not because if you don't need to use any other logic, like, oh, the animals are sentient beings and they shouldn't suffer, and that you can utilize that definitely, but you don't even have to do that. If you look at the cause of reality, like I said, dependent origination, that's the answer. Because dependent origination, therefore we see this, no. Nowadays we have what we say. um, uh, fruits, shiny, beautiful, big from the outside. Then you cut up and you eat it and no taste. So, like I said, in order to create something beautiful, we are destroying the innate nature or the beauty within the innate nature. The fruit is tasteful, juicy, full of taste. And then, of course, what we say within the fruit, all the, what do we say, necessary, what do we say, protein and the fiber and I don't know what, yeah, all of these things. Yeah. Then these also disappear. So it's quite interesting that our mind is, the function of the mind trying to create that reality, and the cause and effect that we are like I said, the causes that we are utilizing to create that reality is the exact opposite. It creates the exact opposite. So our focus is mainly, we can see that when our mind is functioning, our focus is mainly single pointed. Yeah, we just want the look. It has to look nice and it has to last long. Yeah, it has to be permanized and it has to look beautiful. These are the two things we normally tend to integrate into product. So, and then the causes that we are utilizing in order to achieve that, we are causing the fruit to become tasteless. We are creating the fruit to be, less protein, less, less fiber, less energy, whatever it may be. Yeah. And then full of chemicals. Yeah. Full of chemicals, pesticide, insecticide, I don't know, all those things. And then I think indirectly we can see that it's harming our health as well. Right? So uh, just a concept. I think this is the method of how we conventionally utilize cause and effect without clarity, without understanding the in depth of the structure. And then because we are permanizing and we are seeking momentary as well. The things that we will do in order to achieve, in order to gain momentary joy, momentary satisfaction. People do all kinds of crazy stuff in order to gain, like, a very short momentary pleasure. So anyway, the construct itself is kind of important because we need to reflect on these things. And this is not because I care about the environment, not because I care about, enlightenment, all of that, but because it's in the function of nature. One of my motto is don't go against nature. And nature, I don't mean nature as an environmental nature, nature as in functional nature, cause and effect, dependent origination, impermanence. Don't go against that. The more we try to go against that nature, it backfires. No. So the whole construct of the Buddhist philosophy is, I think, the way I see it is, I think that it's built on shaping the clarity of that natural process. If you think about it, Buddhism explains nearly every single thing, from enlightenment to cause and effect to emptiness to bodhichitta to our own development, through even through the concept of the paramitas in regards to quality development, then the mind itself. Everything is explained on the basis of impermanence. If they were not impermanent, they would cease to make sense. Then if it's impermanent, then why are we trying so hard to permanize things? Where is the permanization of that existent there? Yet we try very hard to do so. Yeah, if it's impermanent and it's dependent originating, then why are we, this is the question, right? If it's dependent originating and it's impermanent, then why are we so stuck with the idea of what we say, uh, an intrinsic nature, independent nature within that object? This is, I think, the main question of the Madhyamika concept. Why? We can see very clearly that it's dependent origination. We can see the change. We can see that if I do this, then this will happen. I can see the cause and effect, and I can see the continuity. Yeah, so if I give you an example, you have a small baby. When we were first born, we were we high, yeah, maybe this like a box, like this big. Yet we still identify ourselves as that person. But are we actually that size and that person? No. We have completely changed. We have grown up. Our muscles develop. Our face structure is different. Our body structure is different. Forget about everything. Even our mind is different, completely different. The functioning level is completely different. Yet we identify it. We identify, yes, that was me. If I show you a picture of my mother holding me in her arm like this, and then I ask, and someone asks me, "Who's this?" I say, "Oh, that's me." Yeah. And this is on the basis of impermanence, the concept of continuity. That's how the identification happens. So we very clearly see that yes, impermanence is there, consistency and continuity is there, and this is where the whole labeling aspect happens. So if we understand all of this, yet grasp onto a permanent existence, then I don't know, how does that make sense? Right? So these are the more deeper questions that the Madhyamika philosophy integrates. Mm. Yes. So anyway, yeah. So bodhicitta. So bodhicitta, like I said, aspiration to attain enlightenment, yeah, for the benefit of all beings. And this one has uh, uh, two categories or dimensions: relative bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta. Relative bodhicitta, compassion, loving kindness, service, what we say, and the determination to benefit others. Then ultimate bodhicitta, the wisdom realizing emptiness and the absence of the in what we say, inherent existence. So these categorized into, I think, sometimes I think we feel that the inherentness is what makes compassion arise. The what we say, uh, we feel that the identification, yeah, uh, what do you say? Uh, mm, uh, I forgot the word. Mm, mm. Independent, yeah. The independent identification is what makes compassion arise. The independent identification is what makes, love arise. The independent identification is what makes the cherishing concept arise. And I think actually that is true. But there's a problem with that. The only reason why we are advising not to do this is not because it's not true, because it is true. My son, more love, more care, more, more giving, more sharing, more, willing to sacrifice myself. That is definitely there. But the bigger problem is that even though, yes, it does make arise more love and more compassion, because we identify that with uh, with the independent nature, therefore the grasping also arises with it. Now that's the problem. And I think because like I said, because it works, because that identifying of the what we say, of the what we say, independent existing does make, our compassion grow, does make our, love grow. Because of that, then we integrate it and it makes so much sense. It not makes sense, but it tends to make so much sense. But yet, with that sense, then, like I said, because it also makes the arising of the grasping attitude when you identifying this, what we say, this independent existence, then that's the problem, where this destructive emotions come out. So even though me identifying an independent existence of my son makes my care much stronger, makes my love, my compassion much stronger towards the son. It also makes my hatred towards everything around my son stronger. It makes labeling the existence of the son also stronger. So, because I'm giving so much love, then the expectation also grows because of that. Yeah, so basically, with the love and compassion and the care, also what comes together with it is expectation. Yeah, what comes with that is the graspingness, and then what comes with it is the labeling. So now we have a problem. Yeah. Now we have a big problem because now we are identifying a truly existing person with a very strong label of my on the senses of graspingness. So if anything harms that, then anything or anything that harms that identification that I have is of no value. So now you're cutting the chain of the dependence on external things. And I think we teach that to our kids at a very young age. I've had that experience also. Uh, when you are a kid and you are walking and I don't know, the door is open, so I don't know, you bump into the door. What does the parent do? And the parent says, "Oh, bad door," and shows the kid that he's hitting the door. Bad door. So you can see that the mind is already identifying on the basis of differentiation, not on the basis of dependent origination. And the relation between the existence is on the basis of grasping. And then now the same thing happens in regards to the future of the kid. Because all of this is provided, because the love is provided, care is provided, nurturing is provided, all of this is provided, so is expectation provided. So now our mind is wandering into a total new space in regards to what I'm expecting from it. So now the genuinity, the unconditionality is completely gone out of the picture. And this is, like I said, because of the identification of that on the basis of what we say. Uh, I keep forgetting this word. Mm, Independent. Yeah. On the basis of independency, the independent existence. So though there is benefit, there's also harm in regards to the conscious contemplation happening and the conscious, what do we say, causations that are happening on the basis of the basis of the mental structure. I don't know. Make sense? Mm. Yeah. So yeah. So yeah. So anyway. So through that, then we can see that the ultimate state of bodhicitta does not recognize an independent and non-dependent existence of the nature itself. Because when you take that out of the picture, then whatever is on the basis of reality. Yeah, it's not on the basis of creation from the mind. So even if there's some structural I don't know, something not right with your child, then you never label that as dysfunctional. Let's say my child was born without an arm. How I'm seeing my child and how others are seeing my child completely different also, right? So we can see that yes, when that attachment, yeah, of the identification is there, then one thing that the mind does is it starts labeling, because it's my son, therefore it's better. No, even though my son doesn't have arms and doesn't have legs, is way better than anyone else's son, right? So that kind of over exaggeration does happen in our mind until the point where you get fed up and then you say, oh, you are the cause of my suffering. I think the same thing happens in relationship, right? When you first go into the relationship, then there's over labeling. Oh, wow, so beautiful, so handsome, so this, so that. Then once you have had the taste of it and you have integrated that into for a long time, then you reach a point where the relationship becomes a little bit tense. Then you say, "Oh, you're the worst decision. I want to get a divorce from you. This happened, that happened." So the functioning the functioning level on the basis of clarity does not happen on that basis. Where the moment you identify the identifying the identification happens on the basis of what we say conventional integration with uh, what we say with an independent nature. So this is why interdependent nature. Everything has to be based on the interdependent nature. Yeah, so this is why I say that everything, if you look at Buddhist philosophy, starting from the mind itself, the path on the ground, then Madhyamika, Vinaya, then Abhidhammakosh, then Brahmanavadika. If you look at all of this, you'll see that the basis of the construct of the whole philosophy is on the basis of impermanence and permanence. First it's existence and non-existence. Then once we go into existence, then it's impermanent and permanent. Whatever is permanent, don't worry about it. You can't change. There's no change. It's permanent. We don't have a problem with permanent. Now our problem is with impermanent. So then we go into impermanence, and within impermanence, then is the structure of dependent origination. From impermanence, then achievement comes, attainment comes, the path comes, the liberation comes, the dependent origination comes, the emptiness comes, the compassion comes, and every practice is grown on the basis of that. So utilization of that. So even within, I'm bringing this up because even within the ultimate state of bodhicitta, the ultimate bodhicitta, yeah, the wisdom realizing emptiness is where the whole concentration is, and is on the basis of the absence of inherent existence, right? So yeah. Mm, yeah, so uh, mm, so anyway, so because of this, like I say, what does wisdom give? Compassion. Wisdom gives what we say, wisdom gives compassion. It's freedom from attachment. And this is why I said, though compassion works with a grasping attitude, it does, but it does not give you the freedom. So the whole concept behind the wisdom is that it gives you the freedom. Yeah. So anyway, compassion, of course, compassion gives wisdom its direction. And this is why wisdom and method go so well together, is because compassion gives wisdom the direction, and wisdom gives compassion the freedom to what we say, from attachment. Yeah. So yeah. So through that, then the expression of the bodhisattva's practice or the bodhisattva path is done through, I think generally we talk about the six perfections. Yeah. So the expression, uh, uh, The Bodhisattva's path is expressed, or the expression of the Bodhisattva path is done through the development. Of course, first seeing the importance, then utilizing the importance, utilizing the wisdom of seeing the importance, and then what do we say? Interconnected progress of the training in the six perfections, right? So this Bodhisattva live on the basis of the whole concept of the bodhicitta itself. I think is on the basis of developing these qualities by integrating the idea of the compassion and the unity of the compassion and wisdom. So yeah, so this generally on the concept. Uh, then I think yeah. So yeah. Jimba, generosity. Yeah. Generosity is utilized because it overcomes what we say the graspingness. Then ethical discipline, Suldim, is used because it reduces harm, it reduces uh, lack of mindfulness. Yeah. Then of course patience. Yeah. Uh, Patience is utilized because it transforms our reaction. Yeah. Because we say cause and effect. If we create the cause, then of course the reaction is always going to be there. So to clarify, to have a very clear view of our reaction, this is where I think patience is patience is utilized. Then of course we have joyful effort, which overcomes discouragement, yeah, which integrates encouragement. Yeah, like I say, this is why I say encouragement is a huge part of our life, and this is why joy should be integrated into everything. So anyway, yeah. Patience, not patience. What is it? Joyful effort. Yeah, joyful effort, overcoming discouragement. Mhm. Jimba Tsulin, Soba Tsundu, someday, then concentration, yeah, something developing stability, yeah, and clarity. So not just developing, I think something also is a process of utilizing stability and clarity. Then of course wisdom, finally, yeah, supposed to do something, shut up wisdom. So wisdom overcoming ignorance, utilized in order to overcome ignorance through insight into reality. Yeah, so whatever we've been talking about, this is why I say, yeah, we don't want to go against nature reality. Yeah, this is one thing. Uh, Reality and nature, impermanence happens. Impermanence does not wait. Yeah, impermanence does not consider. There's no consideration. Like us humans, we can consider. Oh, okay, maybe your feet hurting, so therefore maybe you know, yeah, okay, no problem. I forgive. But impermanence, there's no contemplation there. Impermanence is just on the basis of function. Yeah, whether your feet hurting or not, if you create the cause, then you know it happens. This is why my teacher said, if you buy a horse with a broken leg, then you ride the what do we say, the horse with a broken leg. So I think in modern times it's more like if you buy a broken car, what do? You ride the broken car. Right? So something like that, I think, the concept. Uh, you create the causes, then you have to, you have to utilize whatever you have created. So on that basis, like I said, nature does not care, reality does not care. Yeah, reality does not have emotions, reality does not have compassion, reality does not have anger, reality does not have, all of this that we are experiencing. Uh, so because of that, then we need to follow in, like I said, in coordinates with the reality. So this is where wisdom comes in, overcoming ignorance through the insight into reality so that we can use reality to benefit ourselves. And the best method to benefit ourselves at its highest peak is by integrating joy. And to the best ways, the best method to integrate joy is through bodhicitta. And this is how the whole concept of compassion comes into place, right? So, yeah, so I think mainly that is the structure. So, yeah, so anyway, from what we went through, I think we went through starting at suffering, then its causes, then karma and intention, then through karma and intention, then the, what do you say, transformation of the mind, then comes refuge. Uh, then I think now the, what do we say, the structured practice uh, through Lamgirimba, the stages of the different paths. Then through that, then attainment of bodhicitta. Then through that, then the unity of the wisdom and the method. And then finally, through the unity of the wisdom and method, then the awakening, which is enlightenment. So this, I think, even through the Madhyamika concept, this is the, what we say, the structure of the path itself. The foundation, I think, the foundation of the path. Then what else? Um, mm, yeah, so because of that, then Buddhism, uh, therefore, uh, not a collection of separate teachings, but I think each process becoming the cause or the conditioning to reach the next level. And this is why it's called the stages of the path. Yeah, so development happens through that. Yeah, main integration is joy. Then with joy, then it's consistency. Then with consistency and joy, then it's application. And this is what practice is. Yesterday, I went to Copan to do question answer. Then one of the question, uh, what if I have no time in my daily life because I have to work and I have to take care of my family and this and that and this and this, and I get one day off holiday, and then when I get one day off holiday, I don't want to, you know, I want to relax and I want to, calm myself down. I am very tired. The mind is tired. The body is tired. So what if you have no time? Then this is, I think, the same thing, right? Integration. First is the joy. When there's joy in something, then you always find time no matter what. For example, sleeping. We always find time to sleep. Unlike जब से लम्बा तो दिन सफर मुझे, we find joy in sleeping and we always find time to sleep. Yeah. So anyway, this one is there. Then, of course, like I said, through joy comes consistency. Then the consistency, clarity, I mean, not clarity. Then through the clarity, then comes consistency. And the consistency is basically on the basis of application. And this doesn't have to be that you need to take 1 minute out of your whole, or out of your 24 hours. You have to take 1 minute and sit down and find a place. It's not like that. The whole idea of practice is integrating. Just because you are in a protected place where everything is nice, comfortable, yeah, everyone around you is peaceful, kind. Then because of that, then your expression of compassion and kindness and joy is also there. Then you say, oh, it's easy to practice. This is why it always becomes easier to practice when you know, when you, what we say, come to a place where there is exquisite service. Yeah, when everyone's smiling at you, and they're providing you, and they're always considering for you. That is very easy to practice compassion. is the hard part. The hard part is when you're in reality, right? When you're driving down the road in the traffic and everyone is trying to get past you. There, real, uh, mm, the real application necessary is there, no? So anyway, so yeah, so practice on the basis of that. Mm. So then through that, I think living the path, yeah, the path continues beyond the beyond our own understanding. Yeah, the path continues on a daily mindfulness and ethical basis. Yeah, the path continues mm, on developing the clarity through meditation, contemplative meditation, yeah, analytical meditation, concentrative meditation. So this is where the path, yeah, continues. Then, of course, the path that definitely cannot do without study. So this is where, you know, where information is extremely important, because the more information we have, the more we can utilize. So studying the Dharma, and the path continues by studying the Dharma. Then, of course, the path continues in participating in a study or a practice community in a group, that definitely utilizing the concept of the Sangha. Then, of course, deliberately cultivating compassion in what we say in ordinary circumstances and ordinary relationship. The path also continues on the basis of that. So as we normally pray, as long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, then until what do we say, until then may I too remain. Yeah, what do you say, to dispel the suffering of the world. This is a very famous quote, Shantideva quote from the, what do we say, Bodhisattva way of life. Then again, another one, what do you say? So, for those who fail to exchange their own happiness for the suffering of others, then what we say, Buddhahood becomes impossible. And the very, what is it, profound quotes of Shantideva. So contemplating this is the importance. So anyway, what we went through, I think what we reflected on, what is suffering, what is the cause, then even whether freedom is possible. I think we contemplated on this in our first day, the first week of this course. What is suffering? What is the cause of suffering? Then if freedom is even possible, then what kind of person do I aspire to become? So now maybe that all of this contemplation have happened, or maybe because of what we went through, now you ask this question one more time, yeah, and see where you are getting at, where your mind is going towards. So yeah, so something like this, I think. Did I miss anything? uh, uh, yeah, I think something like this. Yeah, so uh, any questions? Yeah, Aisha.
I was trying so hard not to ask, but I will.
Why? Why not?
Because I'm always asking.
And
Um, you consistently talk about joy in practice, and if there's
yes,
no joy, then
yeah,
practice is questionable. And I
yeah.
think I just need some clarification on what you mean by joy. Like, you just
Ah,
said that when there's joy, then we find time to do things like sleep. And I really like sleep, but I think
Mm,
it's not that I love sleep. I just need rest, right? And
yes,
it's
yes.
not like I love to do my practice. I just know
Yeah.
to get out of samsara, I need to do the practice. So I guess I'm trying
Ah.
to figure out what do you mean when you say joy?
Mm. Ah. What comes to your mind when you hear the word joy? Let's figure
That
that
I'm
out
supposed
first.
that I'm supposed to be excited and happy and want to jump out of bed to do my practice in the morning. And that is not the case. I like my bed. I
Uh,
never want to just jump out of bed. I do, but I never want to just get up to do a practice. It's just like, yeah, I'll get up and do it because it's time to do it based on my schedule. Right. So I have a
okay,
structured routine that
is there
works.
is there a difference between excitement and joy? Because what I'm getting from you sounds more like excitement.
Yeah, excitement is like, yay. And joy is just
Yeah.
like, I see the benefit of this and I can do it, so I enjoy doing it. So there's that, I think joy doesn't have to have excitement, whereas excitement is that jump. But even then, I don't think I quantify it as joy. I think it's just something that I have to do and I get it done. I don't hate doing it,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah. So
I'm not like,
this is why I'm asking, how do you identify joy? If you
yeah.
identify joy as jumping out of your bed, getting out, excited, then this sounds more like excitement rather than joy. It's like, when I give a toy to a kid, yeah, there's two reaction. Okay, let's say there's two kinds of reaction. A kid who has tons of toys and who loves toys, and then there's a new toy that just came out, and then I buy it for him and I give it to him, and he's jumping up and down. Right? Now I give you another example. A kid, a very rural kid who does not have any toys, who has never seen a toy, right? And then I give that person a toy. And the mind is a little bit shocked, doesn't know how to react, is extremely grateful. Yeah? Then he doesn't play with the toy 5 minutes and then throws away and says, oh, enough. He actually, what we say, what is the word? Treasures. Yeah,
Cherishes. Yeah.
cherishes the toy. Now, between these two examples, which would you say joy is more integrated towards?
I don't know. It's hard to differentiate in that case. I think the second one would be that excitement and joy. You know what I mean? I think you have both in the second one. In the first one, I think there's joy.
The first one is the joy. You are identifying the joy with the first one.
Yeah, it's more sustained. The excitement has
With
worn off, but the passion and the wanting to do it is still there, and I think that would be joy.
that's the second
Um,
one, the second example. Is
that's the
it?
excitement. That's the excitement. I just got this thing. I'm excited for it. It's new.
Yeah.
I'm excited for
So,
new things.
yeah. So for with the first example, you are saying where that the kid who first who has a lot of toys, but then now excited because he gets a new one, and then he plays with it for a while, very very excited. Happiness is there, but then now the reason I'm questioning in regards to the first example where the joy is not there is because I think joy is something that we treasure. Yeah,
Hmm.
one of the qualities of joy is in regards to treasuring. You could go to a party and feel happy with your friends and drink till you are, I don't know, you know numb or something like that, and then tomorrow wake up and say, oh, what a horrible dead night. I
Yeah.
wish I didn't. So it's, of course, happiness is there, yeah, fulfillment is there, excitement is there, but then the joy, uh, I think one of the things that I like to integrate joy with is that joy tends to stay. And this is one thing that I like to integrate with joy. For example, you know, even it's like something forgettable and something not forgettable. The moment you cherish is more integrated with joy. When you close your eyes and what we say, remember, yeah, recognize or remember those times, then a smile appears in your face, and there's no excitement like, oh yeah, no, nothing like that, but there's a very tender feeling of peace, feeling of appreciation, yeah, feeling of integration. And this has nothing to do with oneself. It's not like, oh, you don't close your eyes after you have been promoted. After 10, what is it? Let's say you got a promotion and you had a big party, and then, a lot of congratulations, flowers and that and this. Then after 1 week that everything is disappear, your work is piling up on, more work piling up on your desk. You don't close your eyes and you say, wow, I got promoted, and a smile appears. This does not tend to happen, right? Instead, you tend to go like this, and you say, "My promotion is just making things harder for me." So the joy that I integrate is where there is absorption of that inner state of
Tranquility.
tranquility, yeah, tranquility. So that inner sense of tranquility with a sense of peace, and that also treasured. That, I think, now this is my version of what joy is. I don't know how many people agree here. Of course, we can all have different concept of joy. Like I said, merely labeled. so,
Yeah.
so we can label it in many different ways. But this is where I integrate joy with. So it's not excitement, it's not happiness, it's not momentary. And this is what makes it so profound. And these experiences we do have. Like I said, let's say someone you knew once and you treasured their friendship or their whatever you received from them. So every time you sit down and you remember that person, a smile comes on your face. And it's a genuine smile. It's not, you know, not what we say, conditioned. And your heart starts to relax and you treasure no matter how long it goes. Some friendships we treasure, right? I've had people who say, oh, this is my best friend, we meet every day and this and that and that and this, and then suddenly one day they have a fight and they end up not talking to each other for the rest of their life. But then there are also some friendships where they meet maybe once in 2 years, 3 years, but when they meet, they're meeting like their best friends. They are, and whenever each one has a problem, they go to there, and they whatever time they have together, they treasure it. So now this is why I gave you the two examples of the child. I think there is definitely integration, momentary happiness, momentary satisfaction. Yeah, uh, these are definitely there. But then when it comes down to, like I said, when it comes down to inner what do you say, calmness, true integration of peace. And then that also in regards to treasuring, that also not just momentary treasure, but for a long time. And this, I think, I also give an example. I normally give the example of for example, when you had an opportunity to save a dog from the side of the road, there's no regret. You're not getting anything out of it, but there's no regret. Is like I said, genuine, sincere, unconditional. That kind of quality is definitely there. But then again, together with this, there's also treasuring, an inner sense of an inner sense of achievement. And this achievement has nothing to do with the graspingness. So
Yeah.
so I don't know if this makes sense, but this is how I integrate joy towards more.
It does. I think when you kept saying joy, and I've had this question for like weeks in all your classes, and I was like, I shouldn't
Mm,
ask. I should know the answer to this. But I think I kept equating it with joyful effort or joyful perseverance. And I
yes,
instantly
yes.
thought there's an enthusiasm to get up and wanting to do it. And just my own conscience was just like, yeah, but most days, like evenings, I'm fine. Most mornings is like, yeah, I don't have that joyful, just jump out of bed and get it done. It's more like, I'll get
Yes,
up and
yes.
You know what I mean? So there's no bitterness or no resentment. It's just a natural ebb and flow. Like it's part of my schedule, it's part of my structure. I have this practice, I have to do it. I do it. But there's no
Yes,
like,
yes.
yeah, let's do it. And so I felt like, oh, maybe that's missing from my practice and I need to
Ah, no,
re
no, no. I
it.
don't think so. The the excitement and all of these are very conditional. Just like you said, these are conditional, right?
Yeah.
If I, if someone comes to me and says, okay, tomorrow morning you get up and you jump, the moment you get up from, get up, open, it's like a small kid, right? If tomorrow is my birthday, then I get up, I know there's gifts waiting for me, so excitement is there, joy is yeah. So there, what do you say, Christmas, then, yeah, yeah, in the
Yes,
movies I
Christmas.
saw, right? Christmas morning, the kids, Christmas, yeah, jumping on their bed. This is kind of artificial in some sense. You can see the artificiality in that. I mean, of course, the excitement may be real, but then, the whole conditioning is kind of artificial. There's no a natural flow sense there.
Yeah.
Whereas when it comes down to joy, I think it's more integrated. It's not because someone convinced you. It's because something you truly like. It's not because someone, what we say, uh, influenced you. It's because you wanted. The integration of the heart is there. And I think the excitement comes. This is why within practice also, the excitement, joy, the what do we say, the what is the effort, the joyful effort, that is definitely there. But then, in order for the joyful effort to come, then the joy first you need to develop the joy itself.
Yeah.
Without the joy, the effort is joyless effort. Like most of the things that we are doing in our daily life,
Yeah.
joyless effort. So, so I think this is why. Yeah, important. I think this is a very important question because it really gives us the opportunity to integrate what really is joy.
Yeah.
So, this is how I would define it. But then I think it's good to contemplate
Yeah.
if it makes sense, of
Yeah.
course.
It does. It does. It makes
Yeah.
sense. It makes sense. It's from my own reflection to see why I think I need joy or why I think I need excitement when good enough is
Yes,
good enough. I mean, not good enough
yes,
like I'm
yes.
mediocre, but just yeah. Sometimes I guess you get to a space in practice where it's not there's not the excitement or the rush. It's just an even keel where it's good. It feels good. It's kosher. It's chilled. It's not that up and down yo-yo excitement jumping around all the time. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Yes, yes. Excitement, I think, yeah, of course, joyful effort and excitement can come, but first work with the joy. Work, and this is why I say inter reflection is extremely important to truly find the sense of joy, because, and the reason I asked you what joy was, because joy tends to differ from person to person as well,
Mhm.
so that is definitely there. But then joy is integratable to anything. Yeah. You could do you could be doing something very, very harsh, or very, very, like being a mother. Being a mother is a very hard job. Being a father, being a mother is a very hard job. But you could be doing it with great, great, great joy. Maybe not excitement, maybe not not necessarily there, but definitely joy can be integrated into there. Uh, so yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. Mm. Thank you for you. Thank you for joy bring to it. Very, very, very welcome. Yeah. Joy. What is it? Exudis? Exudis?
Exudes.
What's oh
Joy
ex
exudes.
oh, what's
Exudes.
exudes?
It kind of goes, it exudes.
It goes
What's the
like this.
definition of exude?
Like steam coming out of your pores. Steam.
Oh
Like
yes.
it,
Yes.
like
radiates.
like
Radiates.
radiate.
Radiates.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. Yeah, radiates. Yeah, radiates.
Exudes.
Then almost seeps out of the pores quietly. Yes. Okay. I think there's when it comes to joy, there's a lot of profoundness that is integrated. I think similar to compassion when the bodhisattvas in the bodhisattvas practice, when in the paramita, when they explain, when bodhicitta really hits the heart, then luyi pabudawa, all the hairs on your body stand on its ends. Then ming nichimatua means not because of sadness, not because of anger, not because of anything, but the tears very naturally, form in your eye. Yeah, without any that sort of thing. Then Lugi Babudan Aja, Miniji Matung also, then of course, when it comes to internal experience, then your heart lightens, you feel like your body is becoming lighter. Yeah, that sort of thing. So yeah, I think when it comes to these profound qualities, there's definitely many qualities that can be integrated. Mhm. Joy being, I think, one of the first things that we can truly, like I said, I don't know about others, but when it comes to compassion, the concept of what is it, including every single mother sentient being, mind has to be quite wide. I'm not sure if I have this ability to include every single sentient being, but we try our best. Yeah, especially in our prayers. Yeah, may all sentient beings this, may all sentient beings that. So we try our best. But then when it comes to joy, is something that I can integrate. So these experiences do happen. I find joy in being able to contribute and being able to help others. This is definitely one point of my experience of joy, and it's something that I do treasure, and it does stay. It's not something that I go jumping around wanting to do, but then when I do get the opportunity, I truly treasure it. Uh, yeah, like Maddie said. Thank you so much. Okay, then no more questions, I think. Finish. So, yeah, so I hope this course was of most benefit to me, definitely. Like I said, every time uh, every one of you offer me this opportunity to go through this, then for me it helps extremely in regards to reflection. It helps me extremely in regards to keeping track of my own mind and my own practice. So for me, definitely benefit immensely. Then just like that, I hope that our time here also benefit to you as well. Yeah. Then definitely help you ease. Yeah. Learn to what we say, create structure in life. Then learn to create peace in mind. Then stability in performance, consistency in application, then of course clarity. Yeah. uh, so this is my hope. Then with that, I think like we went through the practice, that it is in our hands. The mind is extremely profound. Karma gives us the ability, the freedom, the liberation to make the decision to practice and utilize what the teachings teach us. So to utilize this in order to bring joy in our life, then of course, in order to enhance our ability to, if we can, of course, integrate uh, uh, our wisdom and knowledge and ability to share and help others experience on the same level. Then if not, then at least, like His Holiness says, if you cannot help others, at least don't harm others. So refraining from and this is benefit, not harming others. We say not harming others, but in reality, it's not harming to ourselves. Yeah, so refrain from cultivating destructive emotions, destructive thoughts. Yeah. And that in return helps us develop our own contemplation and our own mind in order to integrate the Dharma. Then ultimately, whether you believe in enlightenment, whether you don't believe in enlightenment, whether this, whether that, ultimately, like like we say, we all want happiness. Then one of the more integratable happiness with the qualities of genuinity, sincerity, and unconditionality. So and this is, for me, this definitely is a clarity in regards to my own method of living and my own method of application. But then everyone has their own path. So hope, yeah, from my side, I hope that this was beneficial in regards to integrating or integration of your path. Then other than that, I think we dedicate we dedicate that our mind, or the same our mind follows towards the Dharma. Then our Dharma follows towards the path. Then on our path, as we follow the path, then that all obstacles be cleared away on our path. Then just like us, that all sentient beings, not excluding one single sentient being, then achieve achieve the clarity to form on the path that is best for them, best for their mind, best for their development. Sanjo semjo rinpoche ma ye panam jege se kyawa nyamba me waya kone konto bewa sho tonye tawa rinpoche ma ye panam jege se kyawa nyamba me kone konto bewa sho timki tsude ye me je tsude namata tani nasa me be tsude ki tsude paro che. Then with this, I think our Guru Japjalama Tupten Sobar Rinpoche, what do you say, reborn? Whether reborn based on our expectation or not, that is, we don't know. But reborn to guide us to utilize his full compassion, patience, and wisdom to, to guide us towards the path of enlightenment, Buddhahood. Then your own guru, any other gurus, yeah, you dedicate for their long life, yeah. Then their what do we say? May their method and wisdom touch countless people and bringing them peace and joy and happiness. Then, of course, dedication to oneself, that we may we achieve the state of the mind that our gurus are in, the state of the mind that the Buddha is in, so that we also can overcome the samsaric experience and what we say, exude, radiate our joy and our compassion towards
Thank you.
everyone else. Thank you so much.
Thank you.